Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Need to Talk Now, presented by AT&T. I'm so excited to be here with myself, obviously, and my co-host, Ashley Nicole Moss.
Who just scarfed down a whole thing of Kraft mac and cheese. It was disgusting. I looked like a football player. Listen, the playoffs, the preseason of the WNBA, everything going on. I hardly have time to eat. So shout out to Kraft mac and cheese for holding me down 4 minutes to deliciousness. If you guys want to sponsor the show, just let me know.
I mean, all the sponsorship. We need all the sponsorship. And we also need all of the likes. Please subscribe, comment, all of those good things. We see all of them, and trust me, we appreciate all the conversations we're having back and forth with you, because there has been so much that has gone on in women's sports this week and every week, it seems. I mean, It's rolling, right? This week, we're going to talk about the WNBA. We're going to talk about lacrosse. We're going to talk about these flights that we got in the WNBA. There's so many things that we're going to talk
about. We had some breaking news. Candace Parker, CP3, she is stepping in. We were just talking about her retirement last show, which was barely a week ago.
Yes.
And now we're going to be talking about her new venture. See, Candace Parker, she moves quick. Retirement may be one thing from the league, but retirement from business and that bag, she's about that money, honey. We'll explain why a little bit later.
We definitely will. She said she was going to go hard in the paint in business, and she was not playing games. Okay. And another person that's not playing games is Angel Reese. Angel Reese. Yeah. She had an amazing big week. Love to see it. She went from practice. Okay. This is a day in her life, from practice to the Met Gala. Okay. The first WNBA rookie to be invited to the Met Gala. And then she went and she did her thing on the court. If anybody had any questions about it.
You forgot one. It was also her 22nd birthday.
Well, yeah, she was. I was going to say, after that huge game and everything that she had. Well, actually, it was the day before, right? So she celebrated her 22nd birthday, and then she went out there on the court. She was getting buckets, okay? She was getting all the buckets. And another thing that we'll talk about, too, was, we got to see it live stream. That's something that we'll talk about a little bit in the future, but so excited to see what Angel Reese is doing. I think that, she said coming in, she was going to work hard, that she was going to do this, like she's going to earn it. And we're seeing that in every way. Another thing that we saw this week with her is she was talking about her Reebok partnership that she's had. Shaq actually appointed her, it was like his first move when he became the president of Reebok. I believe he's the president. And he basically was like, I could see nobody else better in this position. His direct quote was, "Angel is shaking up the space, just like Reebok has done all along. I'm proud to welcome Angel into the Reebok family and can't wait to see how she will bring the brand's legacy to the next generation." And she's doing that in every single way. I just couldn't be happier to see this from Angel Reese.
Yeah, I love it too, because she's very savvy and very smart. And she said something that resonated with me. And one of the reasons why she chose Reebok, if not the main reason or the biggest reason, was because they didn't already have a female basketball player on their roster. And that reminded me a lot of how I've chosen agencies that I've worked with, agents that I've worked with, because, you like to believe that when you go to some place that has a certain amount of people who do the same thing you do or are in the same field as you are in, you would like, in a perfect world, that attention is split evenly, right? But as we know from multiple sides of this industry, that's not the case. You have people who have been with you for X amount of years, and they're the breadwinners, and they bring in the most notoriety and they bring in the most attention. And it's because they've been in the game for a lot longer. And the newbies, that come in are trying to kind of figure out where they fit in the space, and they're just starting out. So like the traction may not quite be the same, although in Angel Reese's case, she's such a huge star already, but there's levels to it, right? So you would hope that, whoever you're working with would give their attention and do their due diligence evenly across the board. But as we know, when a parent says they don't have a favorite child, they usually have a favorite child. They just don't go ahead and let you know that you're not the favorite child. So that mindset really stuck with me because I've made a lot of my decisions like that as well. Like, well, if there's 20 people who do what I do, signed to this person, how am I going to be a priority? And having that mindset at such a young age, once again, just speaks to her savviness. It speaks to her awareness, not just as an athlete, but as, a young woman building a brand. And it was just very, very impressive. The more she speaks, the more impressed I become with her.
Absolutely. And her main thing, like you said, was to be the face of the brand, to also rebrand everything in her style. She was saying, you guys love the way that I dressed. You love everything about me. And I want to bring that to the table in this partnership with Reebok. And you're seeing that a lot. I'm not saying that no WNBA athlete has ever taken ownership and done anything like this. It has happened for years, right?
Like Skylar Diggins had the thing with Puma, and I can think of a few people.
Yeah, there's definitely, Candace Parker, right? Like, she's a prime example. She's been doing that for years. And they've really provided a lot of guidance for this class that is coming in. They're seeing, I can do this and I can do it on my terms and I can do what I want to do. And I think it's because they've seen that from other players, right? But now they're just really having the agency to do it. They have the eyes on them. They have the people that are coming and consuming their brands. And so I just love that Angel is like, I'm doing this my way. I'm doing what I want to do. And I'm going to bring Reebok to life in a way that only I can, right?
I think also, though, it's important too, because I think that, I can think of Skylar Diggins right now off the top of my head, but when I really think about women existing in this space, yes, you always have somebody who their style maybe resonates with you individually, one-on-one, but I can't think of someone since Skylar Diggins who really has been in the fashion bag the way that Angel Reese has been in it. And I think that because she is so experimental with her fashion and because of the generation she appeals to, it's like the perfect storm, right? Because everyone has an individual style, but not everybody has a style that a lot of people want to copy. Then those are two drastically different things. And what I mean by that is that's what the whole premise behind League Fits is, right? Because if so-and-so wears it, and that's why you kind of see the same people on those websites constantly, because there are needle movers. If Kyle Kuzma wears something, 9 times out of 10, someone's going to buy it. If Russell Westbrook wears something, it resonates with people. There are certain athletes who have a mass appeal when it comes to what they wear and what they're interested in, what products they are using, that it only makes sense to capitalize off of that. So everyone's personal style is their personal style, but the needle movers is what makes brands like Reebok and the Angel Reese partnership so instrumental and so monumental, because the reach and the appeal that she has with so many people is going to be a lot bigger than that one-on-one relationship, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And she said many times, all of this is important to me. I want to be in fashion. I want to be a model. I want to be all of this. All of this is important to me. And she shows that in the way that she moves. She even said after her whirlwind day with practice and then going to the Met Gala and all of these things that I can do all things. She texts
maximize those 24 hours, honey.
Listen, she's maximizing all of it, even getting ready in the jet to go to the Met Gala. She was getting ready in there. So all of these things are important to her. She's going to maximize on all of it. People are consuming it. And I just hope that the WNBA takes note, because they have been in a lot of ways reactive instead of proactive, right? And one of the ways that I would say this is with the whole live stream debacle. I was kind of shocked to see that they didn't want to show or left off. They said they were originally going to show Angel Reese's and obviously Camila Cardoso and the whole Skies, first game. And they had it on the schedule and then they took it off. Which was just crazy to me. Why even put it on the schedule in the first place? But also, that there is an amazing star power. People want to see all of the players that are on both teams for this live stream. And then you drop the ball, to be honest. It was very it wasn't smart because
bad business model. It was an oversight. It was a lack of awareness for the time that we're currently in. I think sometimes businesses are in the bad habit of just kind of sticking to the status quo, right? I think that something has worked for so long a certain type of way, whether it's been like uber successful or not, it's worked, it's existed. And I think sometimes that causes them to not get caught up in the way things currently are in the present and do things differently. And you know, Cheryl Reeve basically said this in a more eloquent way than I'm putting it. She basically said, look, she said, business as usual isn't going to work anymore, end quote. And that is a perfect quote for so many reasons. First of all, business as usual isn't going to work anymore. That's a very polite way of saying put some respect on our names. Put some respect on what we're doing. Put some respect on these young women. Put some respect on the OGs in the league. Put some respect on the W, because whatever you thought it was, it's no longer that. There's so many ways you can interpret that. That is dope. I am here for it. But it's very, very true. The way that business has been done for this league for so long, and we can attribute that to a lot of the reasons why things may not have been moved in the direction we're currently moving in sooner, because there's been a lot of people who, you know, are decision makers not making the best decisions. And I love the fact that she came out and said, look, what we've been doing, it's not good enough anymore. So come correct. I love this.
I loved the statement on every single level. And I'm glad that people are actually calling these things out. I think in the past, it was kind of like, should I say something? Should I not? I don't want to. No, it's like, it's time that we capitalize on everything that we've worked so hard to get here for. We have amazing players across the entire league, whether it be rookies, OGs, whatever the case may be, that all have fan bases, that all want to be seen, and we should show everybody, and it makes sense. Shout out to Hey, it's Ali, or Ali. I wasn't sure which one it was, but Ali Schneider, that's what we're going to go with, girl. Turn on and live stream that thing. And at the end of the day, there was over 2 million views.
On a grainy live stream. It wasn't even like, respectfully, girl, thank you for holding it down because you a real one. But like, it was like watching, you know, there's a saying when like you post like a grainy video or like a photo on social media and people will be like, what was this, shot on a potato? Like, it was not good quality. Like, you had to squint. You had to like really get close to try to figure out what the hell was going on. But she's a real one, so we appreciate you. But the fact of the matter is that people were so hungry for this content, for this game. Mind you, a preseason game. This wasn't even like a game that counts towards your record. It's a preseason game. The fact that you had over 400,000 viewers on a grainy live stream just speaks volumes. Like that's a big deal.
Volumes. And looking at those numbers and seeing what you're missing out on, I hope that the league responds in a way that is going to showcase everybody, is going to get this product, which is at the end of the day, the WNBA, the whole thing is like a product that they are serving to the masses, right? That people are consuming in different ways and different levels. Get that into the hands of everybody. Let's just go. Let's do this like on all levels. And they did respond. I will say they did respond fast and live stream the next game that, you know, of the Sky. They did, but we can't do that moving forward.
Again, it goes back to
be proactive.
What you said, being reactive instead of being proactive.
Absolutely. So come on, WNBA, we're here. It's a moment. It's time. And let's just
once again though, shout out to our girl who held it down with the live stream. She should get like a free subscription to League Pass for like the whole season. Maybe tickets to like her local, you know, W team if she has one, or if not, just get free tickets to the game that she streamed. Like, you know, Sky links, like hook them up, like
everybody. Everybody everybody should send her. I think Coach Reeves said send her $3. Everybody who watched it, send her $3.
Like a pay-per-view fee.
Yeah. Shoot, I'll take that. I'll live stream all the games. I'll just go from city to city.
Maybe that's your business. Maybe that's your business model. Just be out here live streaming games on social and charging like a little watch fee. You know how much money? I'm not good at math, so I'm not even going to attempt to do that. But like, I feel like 400,000. Let me do this math real quick. Let's see. 400,000. If you did 400,000 times 3, that'd be $1.2 million that you would have made.
Ashley, you onto something. We shouldn't be saying this on the podcast. We should be saving this for ourselves, okay?
Delete this file. Delete this file. Yeah.
So we're talking about watching all these amazing players and that it is a time in women's sports for sure. But somebody whose time on the field is up is Kelley O'Hara. And man, I honestly, I just need to read these stats really quick because she has done so much. And
go through them because those accolades are hefty.
I mean, here we go. 3-time Olympian, 2012 got the gold, 2015, 2009 WC winner, one of just 12 players in team history to play in 4 World Cups. I mean, what? 160 international appearances for the USWNT. Former USWNT coach Jill Ellis once said about the 2015 World Cup semifinal when she saw the game turning in favor for Germany. Well, actually, I don't know if I could read that because we might get censored.
We need a BITCH.
Yes. But regardless, she a bad girl. You know what I'm saying? She's amazing. She's done a ridiculous amount of things. And she cited that, 2 things were going to make her retire. And one was that she fell out of love for the game. And the other one is that her body was saying, hey, it's time to go. She quickly found out that she was never going to fall out of love with the game. But her body, has told her in different ways, it's time to retire. And she is going out with so many accolades. She's changed soccer. She's changed the face of soccer. And it has been amazing to watch her play over these years. We've been hearing this. There's been a lot of retirements. It's been kind of sad. I'm not even going to lie. But one thing about her that I'm really excited about, just like a lot of players that are going out, is that they are going to change the game in other ways moving forward. She started a production company. She has been an analyst right here on CBS Sports. Girl, listen, I'm going to make you the unofficial invitation to come on back. Let's go. And she's doing so many things that is going to change the game off the field. And it's amazing that there are a lot of players out here that are doing this. We saw this in Candace Parker, right? We talked about her at the beginning of the show. And she's doing that very swiftly by becoming the president of Adidas women's basketball. So,
it kind of reminds me, before we get to Candace, what you said about, the reasons that she said she would retire. I remember when I was at the Super Bowl in Los Angeles, I sat down with Michael Irvin, who obviously being a Cowboys fan, if you guys can't see the star and helmet, that was a big deal for your girl. My parents were very excited, especially my dad. But he, this was when Brady kind of announced his retirement and then, unannounced it a couple months later. But when we were talking about Brady, and the announcement at the time, we thought it was, he officially was retiring. He said, look, a person retires for 2 reasons. An athlete retires for 2 reasons: loss of will or loss of skill. And usually you never lose the will as a competitor who's competed at the highest level possible. You're just always naturally striving for the next thing in that thing, right? You're always striving to be the best. You're always striving to go ahead and perfect your craft. And also that will is tied to just your love of the game. Whatever game it is, your will is tied to that. So he says it's very, very rare that an athlete loses their will, but it's not so rare that they lose their skill. And that's also tied to the health of your body and how much you can go ahead and give the game that you absolutely love your absolute all. And I have to give credit to a lot of these athletes who make that tough decision, because it's one thing to have the game retire you because you have no choice. Like whether you unfortunately sustained a really bad injury or you're not getting, sent to any new teams, and there's just no market, and you're forced out, right? It's another thing to be in high in demand and still be able to play better. Your mediocre play is better than some people's best. Like, we're talking about some of the best, right? So it's such an impressive thing to me. I have so much admiration for people who can say, this may be good for everybody else, but it's not good enough for me. And because of that, I have to walk away from that. And that's what Candace Parker did. She said, I never want to cheat the game. And listen, don't get it confused. Candace Parker, injuries and all, is still out there, or can still go out there and be better than a lot of people at their very best, but it's not her personal best. And I think that is such a admirable thing when we're talking about these athletes, to be able to have that self-reflection and be like, my personal best is all I want to give, and I can't give that, so let me walk away. It's very, very admirable.
Yeah, and what she's done, like Kelley specifically, and all of these athletes that are retiring, has changed the game for the players that are coming after them as well. Kelley fought, she was one of the players that fought for equal pay and the collectively bargained agreement that went through. And so not only as a player was she battling out there on the field, but she was also battling for the future athletes that were coming after her. And, when to your point of, I can't play anymore, I don't want to cheat the game, my body can't go, they're still going, and doing things like producing amazing content that also pushes the game forward and grows the game forward, because people are watching it more and consuming more and becoming more fans of what's happening in every sport. Or, she says she wants to work in a front office. There's so many things that you can change within a front office for the players that are coming after you. Candace, we're talking about her and what she's doing with Adidas. She's going to change the game in sport that way and work with other athletes. And
not only Madam President Candace Parker.
Oh, Madam
President Candace Parker, as she was named the president of Adidas women's basketball, which is a huge thing. Adidas gave her signature shoe back in 2010, I believe. So this is a full circle moment. And I love that, because we had the conversation here on this show about the signature shoe debacle, and Caitlin Clark, who, again, let's reiterate, deserves every amount of success she has garnered since leaving college and even while in college. So this is not about that. But it also opened up that conversation about the discrepancy in the W when it comes to who has signature shoes and who does not. And you can't help but wonder, obviously not every athlete in the W is signed to Adidas, but you can't help but wonder if those that are currently signed to the brand, and maybe in the future will be signed to the brand, if Candace Parker becoming president of the division kind of helps even the playing field a little bit. Because I remember Jay-Z was talking about his success, after, in addition to his success as a rapper, but also, as a businessman. And he said, one of the things that makes him work so hard in business is that the more he climbs, the corporate ladder, if you will, the ladder of success, the less he sees people like him. And it takes somebody who sees similarities in you, whether it's physical similarities, whether it's cultural similarities, whether it's upbringing similarities, to really see the value in having that diversity part of whatever it is that this person is in charge of, right? So you can't help but wonder if Candace Parker is going to be the bridge of kind of allowing that diversity to be seen and felt a little bit more in the W when it comes to signature shoes, and who has them, and who, has the opportunities to get them.
Certainly. I can't wait to see what all these players are going to do once they retire. Because honestly, let's be clear, it's not really retiring. It's not really retiring. But all the opportunities that they're going to give these players that are coming up, it's just going to catapult the growth of everything, of women's sports, even more than it already is. And, speaking of opportunities that were given, man, there were some opportunities given to some athletes at this Met Gala. Okay. Listen, I was really pumped to see the players, the athletes that were there, in particular, obviously Angel Reese.
Mm-hmm.
Angel Reese. The first WNBA rookie ever to grace the Met Gala carpet. And she did this with a British designer called
16 Arlington, I think.
16 Arlington. Yeah. And as you can see, she has like the mint green going, which I was actually really glad that throughout the night there were different photographs taken of her dress, because the first one, it almost looked like a little silver.
Mm-hmm.
And to see the color, it really, to me, like enhanced the overall look. I really like the color.
So are we rating this as whether we just like it or if it's on theme? Like, am I looking at it from that lens, or I'm just looking at it as if I like the dress?
I think that you have to go if it's on theme, because that's the whole point of the Met Gala. I will say this, though.
Okay.
I didn't think a lot of people were on theme.
They were not.
They were not. However, what I will say is, so just so everybody knows, the spring 2024 exhibition was titled Sleeping Beauty's Reawakening Fashion. So that was the actual exhibition, right? Wow. So it highlighted the sensory experience behind clothes and their transitory nature. However, the dress code was the Garden of Time.
Right.
And so I think people got a little confused on what they should be doing.
And so Anna Wintour, actually, I believe she did a talk show the next day after the Met Gala. And she even said that she thinks a lot of people were confused by the theme. And maybe that was on the committee to be a little bit more clear. So the actual gala, there's the exhibit, but then there's the theme for the gala. So the gala was actually based on, it's a short story or a series of short stories, I believe, that basically explores the relationship between time and beauty, and how like none of us can cheat death and none of us can cheat the window of beauty. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously there's like things like Botox and stuff like that, but let's take that aside. Let's pretend that doesn't exist. You know, time is something that catches up to everyone. So it was kind of exploring, you know, the relationship between time and beauty and all of those things. So I think more people thought it was like Enchanted Forest kind of theme, you know, like fairies and pixies and ivy and flowers and stuff.
Flowers is like the main thing. They were like, let me stick a flower on this and go to the Met Gala. But
right. So in terms of how she looks, beautiful, not on theme, but again, to your point, most people weren't on theme. So I feel like, you know, it's hard to judge someone being on theme when half the party wasn't on theme.
Right. I think there was just a ball of confusion when it comes to that. But she was definitely on time, which was like amazing because she was literally coming from practice. So the fact that she looks like this and just came from a practice, she gets an A for me.
The color's very pretty on her too. It looks pretty on her skin color.
It does.
Yeah.
Now Serena came. She came through in some Balenciaga.
Oh, Serena.
I know. Listen.
I hate to critique anything Serena does, like if it's not positive.
It doesn't feel right.
It's so much. And I do love the black and the gold together. I love the contrast. It's very pretty. In terms of color scheme. The makeup, the look, the fit, it's
not going together. It's not giving.
It's hard.
It is not.
But I love her so much. It's very hard for me to say that I don't like this, but I don't like this.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan, especially with the theme too. I just felt like there was an explanation with it, but it still didn't even seem to go. I will say the dress did take 150 hours to make. I mean, that's a point, but I still, it's not my favorite. I'm trying.
Yeah, I can't.
Listen, I'm trying, Serena. I'm trying.
No.
But Venus came through.
Now, Venus looked good.
If you don't come through with all these little mirrors and just be fly.
Maybe slightly more on theme with the mirror. But again, I can't even rate it on theme because everyone missed the mark. But in terms of fit, dress, this is beautiful. It's fit well, clinched at the waist. Her top looks amazing, very well fit. I love the hair, the braid around the bun. Makeup's on point. She looked very good.
She looks amazing, stunning. Like when she walked in, I was like, okay, shut it down. Shut it down.
Very, very pretty.
Yeah, very pretty. And I guess on the way there, a couple of the mirrors broke. So, I mean, she still came through. That's what they said.
It does kind of like with her and her sister. I mean, obviously we're not fans of Serena's look, but like the metallic thing, it's silver and gold, you know?
Yeah.
It looked,
I guess they were on theme.
Photographed well together.
They did. They were on theme together. They were on their own theme together.
Yeah,
so
their
we'll
own
take
theme
that.
together. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coordinated.
So Maria Sharapova, she was also on this carpet.
This I love.
I love the way that it looks like on the stair. Like, I think when she was thinking about this moment, this dress is perfect for that. It also obviously has the floral touch to it with the arm detail.
Okay, let me rephrase. I like the cape. I do think the cape's pretty with the big, again, everyone thought it was like florals and fairy party and garden party, but like the cape's beautiful with the flower detail. I'm not a fan of the dress with the cape. I just feel like the way the dress is cut interferes with the detail on the sleeves of the cape, because now like my eyes go to it. I don't know where to look. I think I would have preferred the dress if it were strapless and you just saw her bare arm, because then your eyes go straight to that giant flower versus like dress, then flower. I think her hair looks nice though. I do like the kind of like the elaborateness of her hair. But I don't like the dress. I like the cape though.
Yeah, I feel like the colors are off for me too. Just, I don't know. I don't like the way that they complement each other.
Right? It's like tennis colors, maybe?
Possibly.
Like the yellow tennis ball with the, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the drape. I love the shape. There's some tweaks that could be made, but I'm here for it.
I don't like the layering of the dress. You see how like the dress like layers at the bottom? It's like different. It's cut. It's not like one solid. It kind of like pleats and then pleats again, then pleats again. I don't
well,
like.
And also that fabric of the cape, you can see there's like some wrinkles in it and stuff. I just feel like when you think about being at the Met Gala and on the carpet in this moment, like you literally get ready all day for it. And that kind of stuff just should be taken into account. I mean, that's not necessarily her fault, but you know, the stylist should have thought that through.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. The cape's nice though.
Yeah. Okay. We're okay with it. We all right.
Hi, Maria.
Yeah. Now, what about Lewis Hamilton?
Okay. Again, don't know if he's on theme. But I like everything from the knee up. Well, like his pants up. I think the jacket's dope. I think the shirt is dope. I like the little thorn neck piece. I don't like the pants. He's already so short that like the pants just kind of make him look even smaller in the leg. Like it shortens his leg because it's kind of baggy, but not. It's like tailored, but not. And with the cape being so long, I don't know. I maybe would have liked to have seen him in something that allowed his shirt to be tucked in so you can see all of his leg to kind of make him taller. This just makes him look like he's 4 feet tall.
Yeah. It's not really flattering. Like he looks very like crisp, you know, but the actual cut of what he's wearing isn't necessarily the most flattering thing. But what I will say is there's a meaning behind this. He made this in honor of one of Britain's first ever gardeners named John Estumplin.
Okay.
So yeah, I just thought that was cool because the whole gardening thing, you know, obviously it wasn't necessarily right on theme, but I like the nod to it. I like the nod that he had.
I do like that. I just wish we would have seen more. When you're short like that, like you have to find ways to kind of make yourself look taller. And that's all done in tailoring. And I just think that that's where the mark was missed because his legs look like they're this big. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the height already, so you kind of have to fake that a little bit. But I was wondering if everybody got the theme wrong and everyone thought it was garden party, then technically they were on theme because everyone was on the same theme. It just was the wrong theme. So I wonder, you know, you look at it that way, you know?
Yeah, we can. So then, you know, with the whole gardener thing, he was on point. He was on point.
Good job, Lewis.
Well, let's do one more because I personally want to see this dress, but it's D Wade and Gabrielle Union. How do you feel?
I'm once again confused because garden party, I can understand why you thought that was a theme, but she looks like a mermaid. So
Yes.
I don't see how that plays into either theme. I think this would have been fantastic on what's her name? Haley Bailey, who played the Little Mermaid. I think this would have been perfect during her like press run for the movie.
Yes.
Would have been amazing. I think in terms of coloring, they match because the top is lavender and his suit is lavender.
But I will say this.
That's all I have.
D Wade, like I don't like what D Wade is wearing either because it just looks sloppy. Like the shirt, it just looks untucked. It's not, and even if it was untucked, it's just not hitting right. I'm just like, they usually hit both of them. Like when they wear things together, I usually like how they complement each other in what they're wearing. But while the tailoring on her dress is impeccable, the tailoring is, everything else, I'm just kind of confused.
Yeah, the tailoring's great. I feel like the dress itself would have been dope at like the Oscars or something where you didn't need to follow a dress code and you kind of could have, the way I actually would have dressed this up, I would have done this differently. Like the top looks like it can be worn separately. So something that would have been really cool to just make it so your eyes go straight to that skirt is if you would have taken this skirt and got like a white dress shirt, like an oversized white dress shirt, tucked it into the skirt, had like the shirt open at the top so that the top is super plain, but your eyes go straight to the skirt, kind of like a tuxedo, like area where it's like maybe just like tightened it around the waist a little bit, but the top with the skirt, it's just like I don't know where my eyes need to go first.
Yeah, well, it's very clear that these looks did not connect.
Yeah.
But right now it's time for something that does connect, and that is Connecting Changes Everything, presented by AT&T. So Ashley, this week we are bringing an update that I know I am so excited about, and that is that finally, the WNBA is going to have charter flights.
You want to do a round of applause real quick?
Oh my gosh, can we insert a round of applause? Like,
this is me round of applausing. It's a one-person clap, so it doesn't sound that loud, but it's pretty loud in my head.
Oh my gosh. So Kathy Engelbert, she came on and she said yesterday, hey, we're going to get charter flights. And it was kind of out of nowhere. People didn't even know it was happening clearly because a lot of coaches and front office staff and everything, they responded like, well, it's about time. Thank you. Like they literally didn't have any ideas. So this was clearly something that was just decided on. It's going to be $25 million to have all the chartered flights. And to me, money well spent because there have been so many security issues over the years. Just having athletes that are on these back-to-backs, games, having to sleep in airports. I mean, we're talking about the top, women's basketball players in the world that are having to deal with things that they shouldn't have and that impede their play and their safety, right? And so having these charter flights is long overdue, definitely, in my opinion, late. Absolutely late, but I'm very, very excited nonetheless that all of these amazing athletes, all these amazing women are going to be safe on these charter flights, getting to their games and, performing at their peak performance because they're not having to sleep in airports.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that to your point, long time coming, long overdue. But I think with, we keep talking about it in so many different ways. I think with all the star power that was in the draft this year, it might have pushed this issue forward and to the forefront and made it happen sooner rather than later, or sooner rather than it's taken to get to this point. Because while there have been big names in the draft over, all the years that the draft has been happening, this is the first time I can remember in recent history where there's a lot of star power. And obviously because of the NIL and the way, that collegiate sports has drastically changed. And now you see college athletes getting commercials and deals with big brands. It has kind of projected the star power and made it happen a lot sooner rather than, waiting until they get into the professional league. They're now stars in college. And you can't have Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Cameron Brink, the list goes on and on. You can't have them in situations where they're already so notable. And now you're putting them in situations with regular people. And look, they are regular people. They're just tall and more athletic than, at least I am. Alicia, you're in the category. At least they're more tall and athletic than I am. But it has pushed it forward because there's just so many stars. And I feel like because of how college sports is changing, every draft is going to be loaded and loaded. I mean, could you imagine if they were still flying commercial flights and whenever Juju Watkins declares for the draft and you have her going through JFK Airport like a regular person with her bun, how that would, you just can't do it. It's just not going to work. So shout out to the W for making this happen. Long overdue.
Yeah, and these players are coming from chartered flights. They're coming from security. They're coming from, in college, these flights are chartered and they're used to having that and playing after being on a chartered flight, all of those things. As an athlete, you're playing so many games, you're away from home so long. The people would think of this as like a luxury, but no, it's a necessity. You need to.
Did you see the Pacers game when Caitlin Clark was there and how the woman gave her the sonogram of her baby to sign? Could you imagine having Caitlin Clark going through LAX when she can't even sit at a basketball game without just people surround? I mean, people were so close to her face. The camera was on her so many times that I would be afraid to even sneeze because everyone's looking at me. To be given a sonogram, please sign my baby's sonogram. You can't have this girl in a regular airport. That's crazy.
You can't. And I don't know if you saw, but when she was at I believe it was the Dallas airport, they did a news story on how people reacted to Caitlin on the plane, and she was walking around with enhanced security because she needed it. And so I think that representation, I'm not saying it was the only reason for it by far, because people have been fighting for this for years.
Yes.
Seeing that definitely plays a part. People reacting to that, sharing that, saying that, and then also the money that is coming into the league. You can't deny that there's money now. That was the biggest thing. Kathy used to say all the time that, it's just not feasible. We just, whatever. Now it's feasible. You can do it and you should. And they did. It's like I said, this was more of a reactive move than a proactive move by far, but I'm glad that they made it.
Before we move on to our next segment, I just have to say real quick, not related to flights, but related to Caitlin Clark. I saw the video circulating on Twitter with the reporter asking her if Bae was going to be can you guys be normal? Can you guys be normal people? Is Bae going to be here? First of all, nobody talks like that. Literally nobody talks like that. Just ask her normal questions, be a normal person, stop being weird. Just please stop being weird. It made my skin cringe when I thought I was hearing things. I said, what did she just say? And I rewound it. Is Bae gonna be here? And even Caitlin was like, I'm sorry, what? Nobody talks like that. Stop it. It's annoying to me. I'm sorry. I just had to get that off my chest. I've been waiting. I've been holding that in for a few days.
Well, and I don't know if you saw that the reporter that was so inappropriate with her some weeks ago when she had her introductory press conference, they barred him from ever working with her again or covering her. And that is the way that it should be done. Absolutely. There are so many amazing people in this space that understand women's basketball and they understand the right questions to ask a Caitlin Clark or whoever they're asking. Don't insert people that don't know anything about women's sports into this conversation. Don't have them asking questions that make absolutely no sense and don't move the needle for this game. Get credible people that understand how to do this. We're covering women's sports. We should have always been covering them, but we're covering them in ways that we haven't before. Get the people that actually know what is going to move the needle in women's sports and what to ask in these rooms, in these press conferences, covering these teams.
Yeah. And don't be weird. Just be normal. Be a normal person.
Absolutely.
I can't. Listen, it is now time for What's Up Now. And this is where we show you something that you need to keep tabs on in the world of women's sports. And this week, it is the D1 lacrosse tournament. Northwestern, the heavy favorites, number 1 seed and reigning champs, 15-2 this season, with only losses to Notre Dame and Penn State, which they avenged their loss to PSU in the Big Ten Championship. So shout out to them. Izzy Skane, ladies and gentlemen, leads the team with 65 goals, tied Charlotte North for the all-time scorer in NCAA history on Sunday in the Big Ten Championship. Alicia, you may not know this about me. I dabbled in lacrosse for like a week, and I wasn't very good, but the sport is very fun. I had fun, just wasn't very good. After that week, it was weird. Like there were tryouts, but it wasn't like an immediate tryout. It was like kind of like they weaned you into the tryout where they taught you like skills and stuff, because not everybody was like very like fluent in lacrosse, if you will. So you went through like this mini training camp, and then there were tryouts at the end of that training camp. Wasn't very good, but I have a whole new appreciation for lacrosse. So this is very exciting.
No, I'm really excited to watch. And it's just amazing what Northwestern has done on every level. I was watching about their Big Ten championship that they had, and it was crazy because they actually had to, I think there was like 96 seconds left or something like that. And they had to move the game from the outdoor to indoor in that amount of time to play that last 96 seconds to win. And I just thought that was crazy because I've never, like, there's so many sports that, I mean, you wouldn't, lightning, okay.
Like lightning delays and stuff.
Yeah, like, we're going to have to move it. But regardless, the excitement for lacrosse is rising, just like everything else is in women's sports. But we need to consume and watch this. You know, we need to watch all of these matches. We need to watch these games because it's not just, you know, we love obviously the WNBA, we love women's basketball, we love all of that, but there are so many women's sports out here that need absolute love, should be watched, should be consumed, shared, and I'm just excited to watch this tournament. It's going to be really good. And I also want to say, like, Boston College, you have a special place in my heart because it says that they have played in every single national championship since 2017. And they've been the runner-up in every year except 2021 when they won it. And it's like, that hurts my heart. I want to see, like, Boston College win. I need to see that. I need to see that. So I know Northwestern are the heavy favorites, but I'm just excited to see all the teams that are going to play in this championship and tournament.
Listen, and I am excited that we have logged another episode of We Need to Talk Now. We want to thank everybody for checking us out. We also want to thank everybody for commenting, liking, subscribing, sharing all of the content that we have put out so far. We appreciate you all so much. Please do not forget to follow us on the social channels right here below, and also tap into our individual channels right there below. Alicia's can point better than I am diagonal. Right. There we go. Listen, we want to thank you guys so much for spending time with us, and we will see you next time on We Need to Talk Now, presented by AT&T.
See you next week.